Hi, I'm John DeVore. Welcome to the channel. Today's a record review. This record, a very famous record, one of the most important records in the entire punk rock history of records. Absolutely fundamental influence on punk and, more importantly, hardcore punk. But also, so this record, this is the first record I ever heard from them. This is mid '80s. This came out when I was in college. My roommate got it and played it a lot, and it was unlike anything I had heard. We were listening to some punk at the time, but this record, when I first heard this record mixes the punk, or more the hardcore punk aesthetic. Hardcore punk was a little bit of a reaction to punk, in that punk through the 70s, and then it's definitely into the 80s, had sort of branched out and wasn't as intense and hard-edged as it had sort of started out as. And it had kind of split off into, there was still a punk scene, but bands came out of the punk scene and became new genres like post-punk, like new wave. There was a lot of callback to punk in those newer genres. And hardcore punk in the 70s was a reaction to sort of distill back to the essence of punk. They tended to be harder, faster tempos, more intense. And what was amazing about Bad Brains is that they had all of those characteristics. They were harder, they were fast, they were intense, they were fucking great musicians. And they also blended other genres into the hardcore core of the music in ways that was not happening anywhere else. So Bad Brains, there's a lot of reggae and sort of ska spin-offs in this music. There is absolutely funk in this music. There is metal, heavy metal, like hard rock in this music, and it is not hidden in any way. And I think that is a large part why this record in particular became so massively influential. It's phenomenal. The band, like any proper hardcore band, has had a troubled history. I heard that the reason that they came to New York in the beginning of the 80s or end of the 70s was because they were essentially banned from most of the clubs in their native DC for the violence of their shows. Not necessarily the violence of the performances, maybe partly that, but also their audiences they would just get riled up and tear the house down. So banned in DC, welcomed in New York City, and thank goodness for that. The other amazing thing about this record in particular is that one of the tracks, so HR is the lead singer on this and almost all the other albums. And in the song Sacred Love, when they needed to record the lyrics, HR was in prison. And so the lyrics for Sacred Love are recorded via prison phone, and you can hear it on the track. And that, I think, is one of the most badass, awesome recording credits I can even imagine for a hardcore album. Anyway, it's great. It actually sounds great. I mean, in the context of a hardcore punk album, it sounds great. Turn all the lights out, do some head bashing, air guitaring, whatever it takes, and have an awesome weekend. Thanks. Bye.
Well, did you find that car? Leaning at home. A little touch of this. Just get it on your road. I know you went with them in your face. Oh no. I know you went with them in your face. Oh no. Vibrating cosmic waves. You really electricity. Kaleidoscopic trees. Alien sea. Oh, is there one for all? Except for all of the air. One voluntary kid. It's contemplating war. She's calling you. She's calling, yeah, she's calling